Okay, in this video, we're going to show scheduling a soccer tournament, a double round robin soccer tournament, slightly different than a business context. You can see I've made a copy of Scheduling-123 and called it soccer. I've changed the context into soccer. The who are schedulees because I'm going to pick both teams and referees to be scheduled in this tournament. So I just called them in general schedulees. They're going to be playing or officiating on fields or where at fields. When, I'm going to call that start times, and why, they're going to have a role. The home and away teams are going to be one role, and the different kinds of referees will be the other roles. So I have a number of schedulees set to 15. That's a total of the teams, and there's going to be 5 teams and 10 referees. So I want that to be a total of all of them. We're going to schedule it by day, but we're only going to schedule it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So this tournament will last maybe 1 week, but it's set for 3 months worth right now, but I can change that back to a week, excuse me, a week or two. But it's only going to occur on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And restrictions are on in case I want to have any referees or particular teams that can't compete on certain days or whatever. And I've set the method to double round robin. If you remember, one of the 2 bottom choices are single round robin or double round robin. And we've picked double, and that means that each team is going to play the other team twice. Once as a home designation and once as an away designation. So here's the Y table. I'm going to have home as one designation and away as the other. And I'm going to have a center ref designation and a line judge designation. Now here's where the max same day kind of comes into play, especially with soccer. When I'm scheduling teams, and they'll be either home or away teams, I only want them to play once a day. Soccer is a demanding sport. You don't want to schedule 2 teams, the same team twice in the same day. But referees, you can. So I'll set that to 2. I could even set it to 3. If they want to do 2 or 3 games a day, fine. As long as it's not going to be during the same time period, they could be chosen to do twice in the same day. So what are those time periods? On each of the fields I'll have defined in a moment. I'm going to have a 9 a.m. game and an 11 a.m. game, and they're going to last 2 hours. And so this type of tournament takes place in a neutral location. It's not, we don't have one team traveling to the other location. I'll show an example of that later. But right now we just have, maybe this is at a particular YMCA or whatever that has 2 different fields. So field 1 is going to have a 9 a.m. game and also an 11 a.m. game, whereas field 2 will have a 9 a.m. and an 11 a.m. game. So I got 4 games happening at this location. I can schedule 4 teams to compete that day, if you will. I'm always going to have 1 home and 1 away team. That's my quantity of Y's, if you will. But I will need 1 center ref per game, and I'll need 2 line judges per game. All right. So that's my definition there. I've kept all the holidays just in case the week we're scheduling happens to fall with a holiday. I don't want to schedule it on that day. Here's my names. I'm going to have the first 5 names be the team names, and I'm just generically called them team 1 through 5. They always have the role of home and away. So if we're scheduling sports events and we have teams or players, they're always going to have a home and an away role designation. Whereas the referees, I've just called them by name here. These types of refs can be chosen to fill the center ref spot or the line judge spot. They're all equal. Maybe there's a particular ref that I only want to be center ref, or another ref that I only want to be line judge. I can change those designations. Okay, so what did that do? Well, it obviously chose some and it had a conflict on others. I can see that maybe a little better in grid assigned name here. And so now I'm looking at field 1, 9 a.m., home team versus away team. I'm going to pick team 1 versus team 2 to start with. Mr. Jones is going to be the center ref. Bob and Charlie will be the line judges. Then we're going to go over to field 2 at 9 a.m. We got 3 versus 4. James is the center ref. Larry and Kathy as the line judges. Field 1 at 11 a.m. We have 5 versus conflict. What's going on there? Well, if you remember, we only had 5 teams. This is soccer. We don't want any team playing twice on the same day. So we don't, we already did 1 versus 2 and 3 versus 4. Who's 5 going to play? Nobody. Conflict. So we really, in this case, we have more field space available than we need with only 5 teams. I'll up that to 10 or something. We can check that out. But that's one example of how conflicts can come into play. So, the 11 a.m. game on field 2 obviously is not going to have anybody that can be chosen. 5's the only team left that didn't compete. And we can't really schedule them on this day, Monday, so we have to bump down to Wednesday. Now here we chose 1 versus 3. We're going to get a lot of games in here. With 5 teams, double round robin, you're going to play 5 times 2 is 10. We're going to play 8 different times. So 1 versus 3 was chosen, 2 versus 4 was chosen. 5's left out again. Luck of the draw. We'll eventually get 5 in here. 2 versus 5 was chosen on Friday. There just wasn't enough teams to fill all the field space. You can see which teams and which refs were chosen. All the red indicates that we had some conflicts on those days. I think the right thing to do here is go back to options and say, let's not do field 2. And we'll just do field 1 at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. So we only have 2 games per day. So now we can go back to, we did much better on the first week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Everything was filled up. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, everything but team 2 versus somebody had a conflict here. Then we had another conflict here. Eventually we ironed them all out and we got down to a steady pattern of conflicts. All these mean that we've scheduled all the possible double round robin games. It took us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days to do that. And every day after that, there's no more possible games that could have been played. That's what all those conflicts mean. So really, here, and here, maybe we could have done something, maybe we couldn't have. Again, there's just 2 times per day that we could schedule, and that's the luck of the draw. Now we could go back and say, I know soccer is a demanding sport, but what if we allowed any given team to play twice on the same day? So I'll fill in twice for the home team and away team and see what that did. Okay, we got them all in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days it took to get all the double round robin games scheduled. And then we stopped at that point. So as long as we can allow those teams to play twice on the same day, that worked out. One tab we can look at when we're doing sports teams is at the very end, and it's called compete. And we just show, these are just static that have nothing to do with the data we just put in here. But if you have a double round robin event, here are all the possible combinations of games that would occur if you had 5 teams. 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, 1 versus 4, so on and so forth. Here's the ones that we got scheduled. Okay, so there's 20 possible games here, and we did schedule 20 of them. So that's kind of a check and balance there. If we went back to, if I can click here. Excel wants to pause to save for a moment. Okay, if we went back to one day or one game a day, and we introduce those conflicts that we had when we started here. So I'm going to say field 2, filed. Field 2 at 9 a.m. and we'll do a field 2 at 11 a.m. And I want to get back to that last time. Okay, so we eventually got them all scheduled, but it just took longer. And I can I think I can illustrate that a little bit. If I chose to make the schedule, we know the default is going to begin on next Monday. So next Monday is the 21st. I'm going to end on Friday, July 9th. So July 9th, 2021 is the end of my schedule. And notice a little red error message popped up. Only 14 matches out of a required 20 have been scheduled. Adjust options or extend the duration. So I've shortened the duration here. That's why that message came up. I can see that there's conflicts. We knew those would occur because we had too many fields. And so we see all that, and it just means that we didn't get every game scheduled. If we go back out to the last tab, 14 out of 20 games were scheduled. Here's the ones that were scheduled. And you can see from this table that there should have been others, and we just didn't have enough time. So hopefully that gave you a little flavor of sports scheduling. I'm going to stop this video here.